Hello everyone and welcome to Factor Supporting Life. My name is Ingrid and so thank you so much for joining me today. I am starting on my new subject and that is intention, which I did address on the previous video as a topic. And so if you guys missed that video, go ahead and put a link of it on the description below. But this is one of my most anticipated subjects, which is really overdue, to be honest with you. And so I'm really excited to finally be here, you guys. You have no idea. But to not waste your time, let me go ahead and get started here with intention with this first question, though, as into what an intention is. An intention is a mental state that represents a commitment to carrying out an action or actions in the future. And so this is a very good generic definition of what an intention is. It is from the online dictionary and everyone has access to that, you guys. You can even check it out right now. But to be precise and based this on my revelation I have on intention, an intention is a complete thought process or a train of thought with an empowered desire and an expected end. You know, this happens in our mind, you guys. Our mind are our souls. Our souls are made in the image of God, is head and body. As it says here in Genesis 1:27, the head is male and female is the body. Right? And when it manifests into our physical realm of existence, we know that the head has a brain, eyes, ears, mouth, etc. Right? We can see what is on the head, whereas the body is manifesting with all these vital organs, various kidneys, liver, a lot of others, like a stomach. Your stomach is so very important, you guys. Majority of people realize that when they have issues, with problems, illnesses that pertain to their stomachs. But yeah, a body has all these vital organs within itself. You know what is so interesting about this? A couple of years back, I was reading a medical journal about this unique relationship that our brains and our hearts have. And one of the neuroscientists was calling this unique relationship a symbiotic relationship. Now, I'm not going to focus too much on the article itself, but a symbiotic relationship was the one that actually caught me of God, that they actually calling it that, because I already had a revelation of the covenant and I already had the revelation of intention. So that excited me a lot. Because, a symbiotic relationship is a mutual relationship that is of benefit to both parties. And so that means that a heart needs your brain as just as much as your brain needs your heart. And so this relationship is beneficial to both parties for it to thrive. That's what I'm trying to say. And so, spiritually, God has been and trying to tell us, mankind, that there is a covenantal relationship between our heads and our bodies. And when we're doing a covenant, I'm going to elaborate on that a little bit more. But this relationship is already established. It is already a reality. It is God ordained. If you go to Psalms 11, verse 9, it reads, He has sent redemption to his people. He has ordained his covenant forever. Holy and awesome is his name. Now, a covenant itself, I know that majority of everyone just assume that it is only just an agreement between parties. No, it is specifically referring to an agreement that is specifically between a head and the body. Any other contract can be made, but a covenant is unique in that regard because it is basically referring to this already established structure that works so well together, and there are laws that governs the structure on how it's supposed to operate. And so that's a reason why we see the actual structure itself in our physical realm of existence being under attack. Now, God has given us, of course, the spiritual armor, right? In Ephesians 6, verse 10 to 18, if I'm not mistaken. He has given us the spiritual armor, which is going to protect the body that is binded by this covenant. And this covenant, of course, is binding the head and the body to make sure that it is operating accordingly and it has this relationship that is of benefit to the head and to the body. And that relationship is not just limited to the physical body. There's one vessel. We know that we partake to a next covenant, which is a marriage. We know also that a kingdom is a covenant. It can have a covenant, in other words, because the king is the head and the kingdom itself is the body. And so that relationship continues on all the way to a relationship we have with our Christ, which, Christ is the head, and us, church, with the body. And so I'm not going to talk too much about this. We're going to be addressing this on the covenant itself. But I'm going to go back to intention right now. Let's look into Numbers 35:20, which reads, "If anyone with malice aforethought shoves another or throws something at them intentionally so that they die." What I like about this verse, you guys, is that it's relating an intention to the thought that already took place. A period of how long that thought took place is irrelevant. What matters is that there was a thought that took place before that person acted upon it. It's very important that we know that an intention is before action, is before what is said. And if we go to 1 Chronicles 28 verse 9, it reads, "As for you, Solomon, my son, know the God of your father and serve him wholeheartedly and with a willing mind, for the Lord searches every heart and understands the intent of every thought. If you seek him, he will be found by you, but if you forsake him, he will reject you forever." Now the Lord searches every heart and understands the intent of every thought. Please note that it says here that the intent of every thought, not a thought that hasn't taken place. That's very important, okay? Because we argue about what God can do, when he can do, what he can do. But above all, it says here that it has to be within a willing mind. Now, it doesn't mean that God does not search a mind that is not willing. What this does, it says a lot for us, especially revealing the most important things under what God evaluate when it comes to judgment, is that there has to be a willing mind in place, and there has to be a thought process that is complete. A complete thought process is an intention. We need to remember that. So I love that, because a thought process itself is initiated by sense experience, right? And that sense experience is happening under that reasoning segment of the thought process, and it ends all the way at the anticipation chamber or anticipation segment, where we have an expected end, which is faith, and of course hope, which is us seeing our expected end, right? It's not necessarily that it has taken place, but we have seen it in our minds, that the reality of it, and that's what we call hope. So, but before I really talk about the thought process itself, I need to mention this, you guys, that an intention, a thought, is spiritual. An intention is like a spiritual realm that is watered and cultivated by our actions and by what we say in our physical realm of existence. And we do that, of course, until it reaches fruition by manifesting into our physical realm of existence. And so if you think this is a little bit bizarre for you, you think it's a little bit crazy, too far-fetched from reality, some people say that, and you think you don't have time for this. Now, I do urge you to give me an ear till the end of the subject. I'm going to have 3 videos on this, okay? Because I'm going to be talking about how our reality works by addressing and pointing out how our minds works. And really, if you see how our minds work, it is based really on the thought process itself, on how our minds work. So, and I'm going to be really talking about these 3 segments. I call them chambers, or sometimes, so don't mind me when I say that. But I'm going to be talking about these 3 segments. So that means I'm going to have 3 videos coming. So in total on the subject, including this one, it's 4 videos. And so I'm going to be talking about first the segment and then goes to the law segment and then end with the anticipation segment. And so please, you guys, go ahead and stay tuned for the next video where we'll be addressing that reasoning segment. And thank you so much for joining me till the end of this one. Stay blessed.